Making a weekly appearance. We got Copper right there, and we also have the biggest blockbuster to be in theaters since the pandemic started. Tenet, another Christopher Nolan film, actually my first that I've seen in theaters, so let's talk about it. So I was going into this film knowing that I was going to be confused at a lot of points, as you might think when watching a Christopher Nolan film, similar to like Inception, Interstellar. I saw a lot of similarities between those two movies and this movie as well, particularly Inception, which I can relate to it the most. However, even though I was a little confused with Inception, I was really confused with Tenet. Plus, I think the storyline with Inception is easier to understand than Tenet because you have a lot of things going on at once. Inception, I mean, you do also have a lot of things going on at once, but there's one end goal. I feel like there's a lot of things like that they're trying to accomplish in Tenet, so that's where I got really confused. So I don't know if this is going to be the greatest review ever. This will definitely be no spoilers because I am not really good at explaining what just happened in this movie. But yeah, so those are my initial thoughts on the movie. So I'm just gonna botch this if I even like do a plot review. All I know, the main thing they're trying to accomplish is gathering this algorithm, and I feel like the best thing they do in this movie, in order to get to that point, is the Nolanized fight scenes, basically crime fight scenes that are in this movie, and compared to Inception, where it's in a dream, it's in limbo or something like that. This is in inversion. So things are going on at the same time, yet you have one basically timeline going on at the same time, going forward in time while the other is going backwards in time. So that's where you have different fight scenes where you have people shooting guns and the bullets are going back into the gun, like inverting it, like it's going backwards while the other person on the other side is basically moving forward while the other one's going backwards. It's very confusing, but that was my favorite part. And definitely one of my favorite scenes was like the car chase scene near the end of the movie where the protagonist, see, he doesn't even have a name. This whole time during the movie I was like, who's this main character's name? He's just the protagonist. But where he's trying to gather this intel and he's going forwards in one car because we're at his perspective, but the other people who we don't have their perspective on is basically going backwards because they're inverted. So what they see to the protagonist, they see him as inverted. Other parts of the movie that I really like that I forgot is, even just the beginning scene of the movie, where it's just kind of like this heist scene, and it kind of resembles a little bit of the Dark Knight, the beginning of that movie, where people, accomplices of the Joker, are attacking this building. I thought it was very similar to that. I did really like that, and also when the plane, it crashed into the airport, and then later in the movie, the protagonist comes into that scene again from the past, inverted. So everything else is inverted to him. So I did really enjoy that. I did like when he does come into past scenes and it shows everything inverted. However, there's a lot of things that, not that I just didn't like about the movie, but just compared to other Christopher Nolan films, this was just so confusing, just so much going on, that even at some points it was hard for me to appreciate what was going on. Especially, the final, like battle basically going on where it should be really cool. You have buildings being destroyed and being inverted, and you have one side being not inverted, the other side is inverted, and so it's kind of a cool like war battle going on. But I honestly didn't appreciate it as much as I thought I should because I didn't know why this was going on. Because there is another scene going on simultaneously at that point that I think was more important at that time. I feel like there could have been a lot of that same problem going on throughout the movie where there's a scene going on, but I'm not really paying attention to it because I'm like, no, that's not that important. I feel like everything in this movie is important. Everything that Christopher Nolan puts in his movie is supposed to make some sort of purpose. It's not supposed to be like inconsequential. He never does that. But when you have a lot of that going on, I feel like that's where it gets really confusing. Now, some people might understand what's going on, but for me, especially when I'm not watching the movie with someone else to talk about, hey, what's going on right here? It's very confusing. And that's what happened to me during Inception too. And I've seen Inception twice, but I feel like I got the plot much more, and I was much more motivated for the protagonists to, accomplish what they were doing compared to this movie in Tenet. So overall, I'm gonna give this movie a B. That being said, I definitely appreciate everything going on in this movie, everything that it's worth. It's just probably a little too complex for my taking, and It's not that I don't like complex movies. It's just that I feel like there was too much of that in this movie, and that's just what brought it down a little bit. So thank you guys for watching my movie review for Tenet. 6 videos in 6 days on my first week back on this. I'm not saying it's going to always be like that, but I really hope it could. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.